Hi, this is Pete Lyons with Let's Play Salesforce, and in tonight's Tableau CRM video, we're joined by Pedro, a member of the community who has put together something really interesting that I wanted to share with you all tonight, and that is the Tcrm Toolkit. One thing to call out before we dig into the demo and the meats and potatoes of all of this is not an official release from Salesforce, so please definitely try it out, but if it breaks, don't log a ticket with support because they didn't build it. With that disclaimer out of the way, Pedro, I'll turn it over to you. Let's see what we've got.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Pete. So it's an honor to be here. You have a great channel, so and put a lot of effort. So I just want to say thank you for everything you do for the community. So keep it going. It's great. And thank you for that disclaimer. This is of course something that's coming out of the community. So not part of Salesforce. Thank you also for that. So I can start sharing my screen now. All right, so here we have it on GitHub. I'll pretty sure that UP will share the link with the audience. So Tcrm Toolkit, it's a little tool I've been working on with a collection of functions that will help like an analyst to boost their productivity, right? Will give access to functionalities like uploading CSVs, downloading CSVs, creating backups of Xmd files, data flow definitions, dashboard definitions. So a quick tool, and it's in very early stages. I'm still working on it, but happy to release it to the community to receive the feedback and be able to improve it. A couple of things here I want to mention before I download it and start demo. There are a few dependencies or requirements that you need to have. Of course, Salesforce CLI installed. So I have the link here on the GitHub page. You can download it directly from there. There is also a requirement, which is the Windows terminal. It's let's say a PowerShell on steroids. That you also need. There are some colors in the app and some functions that require this terminal. So there's also the link here that you can install from the Microsoft Store. So no sketchy downloads. It's the official Microsoft app. And last requirement is the Visual C++ redistribution. You can also download it from here from the Microsoft website. So those are the only three requirements that you need before running the tool. So then login instructions, there are a couple methods to log in. So, and this is the one I'm going to be showing today, the web login. And you can also use the connected app method. Down here, I added some screenshots with instructions that you can follow if you want to create, let's say, a more robust connection, right, without expiring tokens and things like that. So you can check that out here on the GitHub page. So I'm gonna download here the latest release. I just published it right before recording the video here with Pete. All right, interesting. So you can go to the releases page and download the latest release, just a zip file, place it wherever you want and decompress the executable file. And you could just double click the file and execute the tool. But what I recommend is using the Windows terminal. So open that in the location of the file and just type it in and execute it. So this will trigger the tool, right? And the first thing it's going to ask you is what method do you want to use, right? So I'm going to use method 1, which is a web login. Right. This will ask for your username. So the one I have for this demo. And then the other thing you need is the server ID of your instance. In my case, it's 162. So this will should open a browser for you. The first time takes a second, but then it should work without problem. So, all right, here we go. Enter your credentials, and after that, the tool should receive a token back, and we'll be ready to go. So yeah, here we are. So this is let's say the main menu of functions that we have. So quickly going 1 through 9, the first 4 are basic tasks around datasets, dashboards, data flows, and data management jobs, right? Number 5, if you want to create a new data set out of a CSV file that you have in your computer. 6 and 7 are a couple functions I added in this latest release. It will, go through all your assets and download the definition of your data flows or dashboard, depending on what you choose. Number 8 is to quickly check your limits in your instance, how many records you have left and all of that. And number 9 is if you would like to run the configuration again to set up the login. So, to show you that we are actually logged in the instance, I'm going to run number 8. So I'm going to check the limits of my instance. So you can see total rows available, rows used, basically nothing. Demo instance I'm using for this video. So I'm going to quickly go through this to show you the basics, right? So option number 1, list datasets, self-explanatory. It will query your instance and get all the datasets that you have, right? You go choose, then you can choose one of these, let's say number 1, and you are going to get another set of functions, right? You can explore the fields of dataset, extract, override, append, backup the Xmd. You can also look the history, version history. You can also replace those from here. You can show dependencies. Number 8, Xmd Cleanup. That's Pete's suggestion. And number 9, delete dataset. So quickly, just to show you here, let's say number 1, you select this. Again, this will query the dataset and give you back a list of all the fields and the type. So you're going to get, 2 date fields, 20 dimensions, 1 measure, 100 records in total. And you can extract this list as a CSV file. Yes, and it will tell you, hey, this was exported here. You can go check it out. So I can open my folder, dataset extraction here, and you see it here. This is my extraction there for the CSV list of fields. So going back to the tool, I can hit yes and see more tasks or actions I could take for this specific data set that I selected before, or I could go back to the main one. But let's stay here and show you this. So number 2, very direct. You can just extract your data set. This is a very small data set, so you can see just in less than 4 seconds we have this 100 records extracted. So again, if I go back to my folder, you can see DTC opportunity sample extraction there. So
are there any hard limits? Because I know, for example, when we're creating data sets, we're capped at 0.5 gigabyte UI, 40 gigabyte CSV, 50 gigabyte rolling 24-hour total. So I would assume that those upload limits still apply, but what about for download?
Right. So for upload, you are absolutely right. Those limits still apply. We're interacting with the same platform. We're not, I'm not cutting any corner. So it's the same API. So yeah, same limits apply for upload. For download, actually, that's a great question, because I've been working on let's say dev orgs with only 250,000 rows limit, and I couldn't test something bigger than that yet. But
and what I will do is after our call, I'll get you into an org that has a couple of 500 million row data sets.
That will be awesome.
If we find out what the limit is, it will be posted. Well, I'll be displaying it on the screen right now if we find out what that limit is before I edit the video. And if not, well, folks, assume that there is a limit.
Yeah, definitely. You know, based on my development, the method I'm using, I don't think there should be a limit regarding the queries, because basically this will, and I'll show you in a minute. Actually, I'll go ahead and show you now that we're talking about that. So I have a data set here that I uploaded before starting recording this. I think it's number 6, which contains Airbnb New York listings. So let me confirm this is it. So I'm gonna get the fields and the row count from this. So I have 516,000 rows, right? So based on my development, these should extract the data in chunks, right? It's about 50,000 rows chunks, and I'm sorry, 10,000 rows chunks, because there is a limit.
Yeah, my understanding is it's there's 2 different objects that are storing. Yeah, and you have to. Oh, it doesn't work the same for download.
No, for download, I had to write my own method. So let's see. Let's go ahead and extract this, and I can show you how this works in the background. So here we are. You know,
let me guess.
It says
you're using the you're basically just like passing SQL queries through the API. Is that it?
Correct. Yes, correct. So what this does is, it will iterate in the background, depending on how big your data set is, right? And it will, incrementally create parts. So you can see part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In this case, it's 52. And it will extract, it will receive the results in JSON files, and then will transform everything into a single CSV. So you can see it started creating those partitions and getting the results from the server. So yeah, I will have to test it out with something like 1 billion records to see how that works. But right now we have 500,000 and it works. So yeah, I'll have to see if there is like a flaw in the way I put it together. But the other limit, I'll say, I think it will depend on your machine, the machine that you're running it. Let's say that you have like a dual core processor with 2 gigs of RAM, then of course you're going to struggle. Probably you're going to struggle to do pretty much everything. But if you have a powerful machine, I don't think that you should have any issues, especially with a lot of RAM. I don't think you should encounter any roadblocks to explore that. But we'll run that experiment and let the audience know how that went. So you can see, back to this, the 52 parts were extracted in about a little less than 90 seconds, and a single CSV was compiled in about 25 seconds. So this uses also a lot of the PowerShell functions that I mentioned before. So this is why I recommend people using this the Windows terminal, because it is, yeah, there are a lot of things that are easier to run with that. So you can see here we ended up with the CSV file, 88 megs, 500,000 rows. So yeah, and it will tell you, this was exported here, so you can see the location. So let me go back to the dataset functions real quick. So of course we have extract, override, and also, well, to complete what you were mentioning before, it's used on every upload function. Yeah, you have those two S objects, right, where you upload a part of your entire CSV, right? So let's say let's do append. I can do append. I can show, and this will take you through a few questions to ensure that the file is correctly configured. So first question is, have you placed your CSV file in dataset upload folder? You can see if we go back here, this folder is where we need to put our file. I'm going to use this same file that we extracted. I'm going to paste it here. Use the same CSV. I'm going to copy the name. Need that. So yes, I have placed the file. Now, is it a truly comma separated, not like tabular or anything like that? It needs to be comma separated, truly CSV. So yes. So how many rows? Let's put, I think it's around 520,000 rows. And the last one, we need the name of the file. Paste that without the CSV extension. And these will calculate how many batches it needs to upload the entire file, right? So you can see it will create 11 batches to upload the entire file. So, and this is also to play around a little bit with the limits that you were mentioning. This will create, I think it's 50,000 rows batches. So each batch, it's going to upload 50,000 rows CSV. So let me quickly go here.
So
and actually,
you said that was like an estimated number. Why does it? I'm surprised that it would require anything if not the exact number.
Right. So yes, you're absolutely right. Again, that's kind of like a limitation for me on the time that I have to put on the development of this. But yeah, definitely it should query the file and get the row count. But right now it's like you enter the number of rows. So I need to move that to the program to automatically determine the number of rows. So yeah. So here,
what happens if you guess horribly wrong, or if there's a typo, like it's 500,000 and you accidentally type 50,000?
Yes. So yeah, I was going to mention this. That's something that you can use if you want to upload. Let's say that you have 1 billion rows and you want to upload like a demo section or a sample of the file, and you enter, I don't know, 25,000. It will upload only 25,000 rows.
That could actually be really useful. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Just for me, it's mostly I want to make sure I understand the functionality. Now, where I could see this potentially being tricky are when there are too many rows for Excel to open the file. Right. And then you might be able to like do a search in Notepad+ for a carriage return. I don't know if that would work, but yeah, okay. Just making sure that it's like I got my head wrapped around the what and the whys there.
Yeah, not a problem. And definitely, right now, I have been testing this, like I said, in a very small instance with very small files. So it will be great to put it out there, let the community test it and see with, the different pieces of feedback that we receive. I'm pretty sure we're going to get a lot of feedback. So let's see how they see these being used, and we can adapt and iterate, shape it, how it's more useful. So you can see here, every time that, a batch is completed, it triggers a job, and you can monitor it from here. So right now it's still running this one, and you can see here, I can open up one of these. So we are appending to the original 500,000 rows. So you can see it's adding 50,000 every time, right? So each job is 50,000 rows. Okay. So it completed the 11. This should be ready to go now. Yeah. So it completed the 11. So now we have a data set with uneven rows. Yeah, so that's how append works. And I just wanted to show you this to kind of tell you that, yeah, this method uses the two objects that you mentioned, the standard objects for external data upload. Yeah, so that's how it works. You create a workbench job, upload the file to that second object, and then you request that job to be triggered. Those are the 3 steps that you follow. Yeah, so that's it. So then we have backup user Xmd. This is pretty straightforward. It will go and get the Xmd from that data set or any data set that you want and extract it. So let's go here, Xmd Backups, and here we have our Xmd, right? So yeah, I don't have it. Let me do, there you go. So, well, right now it's empty, right? But you can see what's downloaded. Actually, let's see. Yeah. So we can show number 6. Yes, number 6 will show you the history. Actually, we should have some records there to show now that we have made some changes. So you can see all the different versions of these data sets. And you can see the row count, right? First version with 36,000, latest version with 1 million. Right. Let's see what we have left here on this menu. We have the Xmb Cleanup, the function that you suggested. So this will create, this will clean up all of the names of the fields, right? And in case that you have like dots or weird characters in the middle, underscores and all that, and adjust the labels so they are more presentable in your dashboards. And after you run the function, it will ask you, do you want to upload this to Tableau CRM? So if you click yes, it will upload the Xmd for me, right? And I can quickly show that now that we uploaded this and I back up my user Xmd now, I should get a new definition, right? And I'm going to go here. So pretty sure Adam, go. So now we have a full Xmb created. So yeah, probably I don't have the package here, but yeah, now we have the full definition here for our
Xmb you mean
backup.
JSON formatter?
Yeah.
Use jsonlint.com.
Yeah. There's also a package that you can install here in Atom. It will do it for you from here, from the dropdown. I just don't have it here in this virtual environment. But yeah, we can put that in. Yeah, you'll see it's the full Xmd. And then, well, the last function, of course, is delete dataset. it will do as, it says delete the data set in case that there are no dependencies. So right now, if I run number 7, which is the dependencies, I don't think we're going to get any for this one. Yeah, there are no dependencies for this data set. Of course, brand new, no data flows or lenses or dashboards being used on top of it. So, all right, so let me go back out of here. Or do you have any other questions around data sets before I move forward with other functions?
So, a little bit of scope creep going on for that. For the, potentially, when you delete, could you maybe add in one of those? Are you really sures?
Yeah.
Delete is a scary.
Yes. Yeah. So actually, yeah, I did that. Let me actually.
Yeah, because you didn't
showcase it here.
You didn't actually show that piece, and I'm like, it's probably there, but if it's not.
Yeah, definitely. I thought about that. So number 9, delete data set. These will permanently delete your data set. And it will pause there for a few seconds, right? And then ask you, do you want to proceed? Yes or no? Yes. Right. Yeah, so I need to add a little bit more messaging after the fact. So I didn't delete the big one. I deleted another one, I believe, which is smaller data set number 7. You're listing here. So let me go back and show that we don't have it anymore. So I need to add more messaging after you delete the data set.
Or even call out like, hey, what if I derped and I pressed 6? And then it says, well, are you sure you want to delete? And it's like, I totally want to delete 7.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's a good feedback. So, I mean, I do.
Again, though, just like we said in the disclaimer, if you break it, that's on you.
Exactly. That's the first line on the GitHub page. It's like, there are no warranties. Be sure that you know what you're doing with this. So let's say I hear you enter whatever, right? It's like 5, wrong value enter, going back, and it cancels the operations, right? It goes out of the delete function. But I need to add a little bit more wording there, more messages, and make it more clean, definitely. Yeah. So, all right. So then we have similar functions around dashboards, data flows, all of that. So for dashboards, first it's going to show you a list of dashboards that you have in your instance. I'm going to just pick whatever, number 1. And of course, you have you can explore the data sets that are being used in your dashboard. It will come back with a list. In this case, it's just 1. And then I can show the version history of the dashboard. In this case, we don't have any available. It's a brand new instance, but it should show the history of changes. And if you could restore from here. Now we have in the UI, probably you will do it there, but it's also available here. And of course, number 3, if you don't want to do the mass backup, you can back up a single dashboard at a time, right? Let's say that you're working on a single, you want to back up your changes during the day, whatever, for some reason, or any other use case, but you can hit 3 and it will get the dashboard definition for you and place it in your folder. So if I go back to my folder, we have dashboard backup now, and here is the backup JSON for that dashboard. Yeah, and of course, number 4, delete dashboard. I have the same checks that I have for the data sets. Probably I need to work it out a little bit more, but make sure that you know what you're doing when you hit delete. For data flows, again, when you enter the function, it will list the data flows that you have available. Let's say I'm going to select number 1. And we have some basic functions right now. Start the data flow, stop the data flow if you previously triggered it from here. Number 3, the version history, and 4, a single backup for the data flow that you selected, right? So I can show here right now we don't have any data flows running. I can hit number 1, right? And it will trigger the data flow. You can see that it's running now. If, let's see, these are pretty small, so if I hit 2, let's say stop it. Let's see if I have enough time to stop it. Well, yeah, if it finished out before I go stop it. But yeah, you can start and stop a data flow from there. You can show the version history.
I want to call
as
out
well.
a quick, like, killer use case right there.
Yes.
On my data flow after external data has been synced. In other words, we use the utility to push our external data up and in. When we know that that operation is complete, the next command we give it is to execute the data flow.
Yes, so that's built in. So because I don't have, let's do this exercise. So live demo, create this data flow, and let's use the data set that we created. Load New York listings, right? And I'm not gonna do anything, just register. Source node, load, New York demo, New York demo, fancy, just create, update my data flow, live demo. Okay, so I have created this, and I'm gonna do, let's get out here and go back, and I want to show that because it's actually built in. So so data sets, and I'm gonna choose my New York data set that we created, number 1. And I'm gonna overwrite it, showcase that one. So let's make sure I have the file in the folder, data set. Yeah, let's use this same one. Right. So yes, it's in the folder. It is comma separated. Right now that was around 520. And the name of the file. Right, this is gonna take a minute bit. When it ends, it should query for dependencies and say, hey, there are dependencies. Do you want to trigger the data flows now? So yeah, that's built in there. Let's see, and yeah, actually, and a cool thing is that you can also run multiple of these. You don't need to stick with one. You could have multiple windows open and interact in different ways. So let's say that you're running a huge job on the side and when I do other stuff in another window, you can trigger another one from another terminal and work in parallel. So that's definitely possible. Here to data manager right now, real quick. So you can see here the different jobs are running now. And of course, I mean, the internet connection that you have is going to play a part in the uploads, right? If you are working from home and you have a very low bandwidth or upload capacity, well, you're going to struggle a little bit uploading those files.
I don't know. I feel if anything, I get a little bit more mileage working from home, but I'm a bit of a tech snob.
4 batches and we're done.
I do actually like that it keeps me posted of the progress, because more than once the phrase spam the refresh button has been said on this channel.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So you can see here, all the batches completed in 127 seconds. And now that we created the data flow, we get this warning. Hey, the following data flows are depending on this CSV data set. Right? Do you want to run them now? Right? In this case, we only have one, but if there are many, all of them are going to be in this list, and you can trigger them. Just say yes, hit enter, and trigger your data flow. So you can see live demo now running. So yeah, that's definitely there. So yeah, and I think if I recall correctly, that's another of your suggestions. So thank you for that.
Well, I mean, it's literally what I do. Somebody tells me about something cool, and then I scope creep them and say, well, could you make it do this too?
Yeah,
I guess,
awesome.
like, I guess maybe that's, it's fun to be on the other side of the table, where instead of, me being the consultant who says, look what I built for you, and people say to me, oh, but can it do this?
Right.
I can just willy-nilly like dole out requirements.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome. So now I'm going to go into the data managed jobs. This is just kind of like to monitor. I haven't put a lot of effort on this one yet. Have some ideas, but this is just to kind of show all the jobs that have been running. And it will group it by status. So if you have some runnings, some jobs running at the moment, they will show in that first section. If there are any failed jobs, it will group it here. And of course, completed jobs just at the end. And you can see here on detail the live demo, which is run, the data flow, and the different uploads here. Yeah. So, and we have other functions in there, very basic for data syncs, and just then a full one that will show you a huge list with all the jobs. So I don't know. I was thinking about adding an option to get this list of jobs as a CSV in case that you will like to troubleshoot something. I don't know. But yeah, I haven't spent a lot of time on this because I don't have a clear use case yet. But if something comes up to mind, well, I will definitely spend the time.
And I mean, I assume that you can't get granular details like this compute ran for this many seconds, this append took this long, this augment through a warning. Can you access that information?
I think so. I need to check the API again, but yeah, that's something I definitely can.
Yeah, because
check it out. Yeah,
that would definitely be something I would take as a CSV. And I tried a couple of different ways. It's not the way it's rendered. Like, you can't just easily write something that's going to strip it out of the web page itself.
Right.
And one thing that I tried was, could I build in, into an Excel sheet logic that I could just copy, click, drag, and copy paste. But the problem is not all nodes have the same number of columns. So some nodes do not provide input rows, output rows, etc. Optimizes have a slightly different footprint. So I couldn't just, assume, because it all craps out. Every column craps out as a row. So I was like, oh, well, this would be easy. The first row is the node that ran, the second node's the start time. And it was not that easy. So
yeah.
I'm sure there's a way to crack that riddle, but I just never had the appetite for it. But yeah, monitoring, like I mean, if you give me a spreadsheet, what am I going to do? I'm probably going to make a dashboard out of it and try to find insights. And if I'm monitoring my data flows to try and figure out where do I have opportunities to refactor for better efficiency, being able to see which nodes are costing me the most time, group them by node type, and visualize that in Tab CRM. That's, if it was easy for me to do, I probably would.
Right. Yeah, definitely. I'll check it out to see if it goes down to that level. I mean, it's exposed here on the webpage, so probably it's available on the API as well. So I'll check it out. Definitely. Awesome. And well, 6 and 7 are pretty straightforward. So these are just mass backup functions for data flows and dashboards. So number 6, it will go through all your data flows, right? In this case, we only have 4. So it will go through them and back up the JSON definition, put them all in a folder, and well, in this case, number 4 is empty. So there's no JSON. So it will put them all in the folder, and then at the end, create a zip file for you. So you have the name, then you have the date it run, and the time. So you have that, so you can keep those backups separated, right? Not mixed up. So that's for data flows, and the same kind of thing runs for dashboards. So this should take a little bit longer. I can show you what runs here. So dashboard backup. So this is the folder, and basically it will, just store every single JSON in there, and at the end it will compress all of them in a zip file. So very, very straightforward. Yep. So again, right now we have the UI. We can restore the versions and all of that, right? We have like a backup available directly built into the tool, but I know about different people that like to have, let's say local backups. So definitely that's kind of like having them in mind, but this could adapt for different use cases.
Yep, and I could tell you, I know some of those dashboard names. That is the what was I don't know if they've rebranded that part of it yet, but the Einstein Analytics Learning Adventure app.
Right. Yeah. As I was creating a couple demo orgs prepping for this video, there are a ton of things that are still not rebranded. And I understand it's a huge effort. So
there was actually one feature to call out though. There's actually now a feature under settings for auto-installed apps. So if you don't want end users stumbling on the learning app when you roll out to when you roll out in prod, you can turn that off, or you could also leave it on if you want people to learn stuff, but not every business is going to want their business users to even know what SACWL is. It might just not be relevant.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's interesting, like how much stuff you actually get when you log into Trailhead. Like now I've been seeing sales test in all lowercase in newly created Trailhead environments, and it's basically just sales analytics with the default settings on it.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, well, that was the backup for all dashboards. Same thing. It's going to create a zip file, store all of that for you, and then we have 8 and 9, last 2 functions there for I showed at the beginning to show the limits. I mean, there are still a lot of things in the API that are available, but little by little, I'll go through them and see if I can come up with a use case and add it to the tool. And I think that that's also why it's important to receive the feedback from the community. Try to help them with all of the different use cases that they may have. I could update some of these functions or add new ones. Definitely. So like we said at the beginning, I mean, this is not a Salesforce product. This is something that's coming out from the community, for the community. So, please let us know. Send us your messages. You can go to GitHub, text me there, create an issue, or send me a message, or I'm pretty sure we're going to post this as well on the Salesforce community. So you can message us as well in there.
All right, so that's all we have for tonight. Pedro, I want to thank you for coming out, and this is just great stuff that is coming out of the community these days. So thank you very much for putting your content together. And for the folks at home, if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, tell a friend, and as always, thanks for watching.